Hello everyone and welcome to the LTSS Maryland webinar. My name is Hima Puranam and in this webinar I will be walking you through the Residential Service Provider configuration page. This page allows the DDA to configure a residential provider and set capacity and site information. The following people can view or edit the Residential Service Provider configuration page: DDA Admin, DDA Provider Relations Director, DDA Provider Relations Staff, DDA Regional Director, DDA Regional Program Staff, DDA Regional Program Supervisor, DDA Regional Provider Relations Supervisor, and DDA Regional Provider Relations Staff. Here are the steps to access the Residential Service Provider configuration page. From the home page, click on Menu on the top right. From the drop-down, choose Administration. And from Administration, click on Residential Service Provider Configuration. You are now in the Residential Service Provider Configuration page. You can search for any provider on this page and review or update their configuration. To complete a search, you will make the necessary selections for each criteria. You will select service type, which can either be community living group home, community living enhanced supports, and supported living. You can also search by provider name, provider number, status, active or inactive. An active provider is one that has a Medicaid number that is active for rendering services. If a provider's license expires or a location is shut down in MMIS, the ME number would be marked as inactive. For the purpose of this webinar, I will select service type community living group home and enhanced supports. Once I have made the selection, I will click on the search button. When these options are selected, the system displays the providers with DDA Community Provider attribute with the active category of service. Here are the results as you can see on the screen. In the Actions column, click on the Manage link. Another window opens. You can see that there is provider name, site address, capacity, number of people authorized, overnight supports, yes or no. Capacity should always be set at the maximum licensed capacity for the house. The system will use this capacity setting to calculate what sites can be added to a PCP in the service authorization process. The system will also calculate how many people are living in the home once a month, allowing for mid-month changes for move-in and move-out. Now let us look at the view screen. By clicking on the view link, the view screen shall open. The history section in the view screen is updated with the number of participants authorized for the site. Number of people authorized can exceed the capacity to allow flexibility in admitting participants with needs to site, and capacity can be updated. For the purpose of this training, I will go ahead and modify the capacity for this provider location by again going into the Manage mode. As you see, now I am on the Manage Residential Service Provider configuration page. I can change the capacity of this provider by using the up and down arrows in this box. Once I have modified the information, I will click on the Submit button, and you can now see that the capacity for this agency with Main Street address has changed to 4. Also, please note that in the Actions column on the right side of the screen, you can click on the View link to see the details of the provider, including the history of the changes, in view mode. The View link is a read-only field and therefore cannot be modified. I will now go over the Residential Service Provider configuration for supported living. Supported living differs from community living group home and community living enhanced supports, as the service is not provided as a provider-owned and licensed site. The service is provided in the participant's rented apartment or own home. The supported living service location needs to be indicated in LTSS Maryland due to the rate being associated with the number of people being supported in the home. To search, you will make the necessary selections for each section. You will select the service type as supported living. You can also search by using the provider name, provider number, and status. Once you have made the selection, you can click on the search button. Here are the search results you can see on the screen. In the Actions column, you have the option to click on Manage or View as it pertains to each location supported living services are being provided. When I click on Manage button, another window opens which allows the authorized users to modify the capacity and choose if overnight support is provided or not. You can see that there is more data fields that can be edited. That includes provider name, street address, city, state, zip code, jurisdiction, county, capacity, number of people authorized, overnight supports yes or no, active, inactive. For the purpose of this webinar, I will go ahead and modify the capacity to 5, overnight supports to no, and once I have modified the information, I will click on Submit. You can now see that the capacity, the overnight supports, and the active inactive modification has now been updated. In the Actions column, you can click on the View link for supported living providers. The system displays the provider details, including the history of changes and client information for the individuals currently receiving services at the supported living location. The View link is a read-only field, therefore it cannot be modified. The supported living site is being added because they provide direct residential services to support individuals in living independently while assuring their health and welfare needs are being met. You can also add supported living site from the residential service provider page. You must add the following information: provider name, street address, city, state, zip, jurisdiction county, capacity, number of people authorized, overnight supports yes or no, active or inactive. As you see, I have completed all the above fields in the form. Once the form has been fully completed, you can click on the Submit button. We can now see the newly created residential service provider with the new supported living site. No supported living sites are imported by the system. I will now go over the status of active or inactive for the residential service provider page. An active status means that the residential service provider is available to provide services to the client, whereas an inactive residential service provider means that the provider cannot provide services. You can change the status from the active inactive by clicking on the Manage link under the Actions column. As you can see from the drop-down, we have chosen inactive or active, and the search results will show all the active providers. This concludes our webinar for the residential service provider configuration page. Thank you.